What's up, filmmakers? This is Thomas from Keeping It Real in the film world, where you will hear stories, experiences, and from filmmakers on making connections. Alright, guys, quiet on the set. Roll cameras. Enter Don Hagen. Riding horses for over 40 years, we talk about how important the ride has been to Dawn, from barrel racing to jumping. She mentions a particular horse that helped spark her interest that leads to her Top Trail Horse blog. And here she is now, the one, the only, Dawn Hagen.
Let's get right into this, and just first one is a very simple question: who are you? And who are you? Your name.
I'm Dawn Hagen.
And next question, and there's a reason for this. I just discovered something a few days ago. What do you do?
Well, I do a couple of things. I advocate for scleroderma research. We have no cure, and I do that through the Scleroderma Foundation. And I'm also a competitor, a past winner, brand ambassador, and a content writer for the Top Trail Horse program. It's a trail riding program. And that's what I do.
Who do you do it for? Who do you do? The brand ambassador? Who do you
That
do?
is all. That the brand ambassador and all that. That is with Top Trail Horse program.
What do the people you do it for? What do they want, or what do you know that they want or need from you?
What they need. It's a nationwide program, and we compete through GPS. Therefore, you can be anywhere, and as long as you just hit on and you track your miles, you can upload them to the program and win prizes, not only for like how many miles you went, but there are prizes for how many times you got out and rode, and just a myriad of prizes. And it's from like really good manufacturers of tack that horse people want. Good stuff. And when I won, it was such a great deal, and that I was sold forever. I decided I'm going to go, and it took me a while, and finally I became a brand ambassador. And what it is you're just kind of someone who lifts someone up and motivates them to get out and ride. Go put a few laps in, because it's damn good for that horse, but it's even better for you. And people don't understand that. They think, how could horseback riding be like that? Because you're wrangling a horse, for one thing. You're picking up a heavy saddle, picking it up in the air, putting it on top of this very big horse. Then you're using your whole body to stay on that horse. And then you're going at one of any, speeds. And it works out your entire body. You get aerobic, you get weight lifting, everything. And by the time you go home every day, you know that you've worked out, you know that you've done good, and you feel, great. I have to come down a little every day before. I can't just like go to bed if I come home late. I have to, just kind of come down, because it's just that great. And I've been riding since I was 10. It is still like that. I'm 52. I still love riding that much. So because of that, I'm like a natural cheerleader, always have been. And I've kind of parlayed that around uh, into helping other people get excited about getting into the program and staying into the program. And I do that by posting lots of funny pictures or serious pictures, some videos, and a lot of articles in their blog and interviews. I do interviews as well. And yeah, I really, really enjoy it because the people are fantastic.
And last question, and then I'll explain where I get these series of questions from to open up the show. What changes for the people? How can people change after you do all of what you do for them? What can they expect? What changes come?
So if I can motivate these people who I already know they've got a horse, because they wouldn't be in the program if they didn't already have one. It's a specialized, I guess, program. And if I can motivate them enough to realize that it's not, you don't have to be some great rider to get out and ride. You know, you can just be some scrub with, you know, your shorts on in the summer, or you can completely dress out in a, you know, riding outfit that costs way too much money that you don't need to be wearing. And there's anywhere in between. If I can get them to get up, then they will realize why they bought that horse to begin with. And it's by hugging that horse and getting the feel of his or her blood against your body. Something about that, it's like they transfer this dopamine, or I don't know, whatever amine, some kind of happy amine into your brain. And then when you get on, and walking is fun because you get to look around. Trotting, if you know how to do it well, which of course I do, I've been doing it all my life. If you know how to do it well, is very fun. But when they're in a run and you can just go and go as fast as you want, just let them go. That is like what I suppose crack would be like. It must feel like that, because it's one of the most invigorating feelings in the world, and it stays with you for hours later. I mean, so heck yeah, if I can just get them out and realize, oh God, that's why I bought this horse, you know, let's go for a ride. And then they'll get onto Facebook, they'll see pictures that we've all been posting of our ride, you know, that day. And she'll be like, wow, well, this is what I did on my ride. And it makes these mostly women, but there were many great men in our group. It brings them out of their shell, and nobody needs to live in a shell. And yeah, if I can help somebody feel better through writing, because that's all I got. that's all I got to offer. Then yeah, that's I love it, and I love it.
For the longest time when I was first growing up, I never wanted to get up on a horse. And all of a sudden I did. I was in Arizona riding out in the desert, or it was another place. All of a sudden I decided to get up on a horse. I'm not riding too fast or anything, but I can grow into it. I actually started going a little faster, but it depends on the horse. I know, but but
No, it's the
ever since
rider.
then, I
I'm telling you,
love
it depends on
horseback
the rider.
riding. Some
What they'll do is they'll size you up right away, and if they, I'm serious, and if they sense that you don't have any idea of what you're doing, they'll treat you with they'll treat you childishly, you know. They'll be very childish and play pranks on you, and yeah,
pranks.
yeah, they are much smarter than you think.
I know
Yeah.
that, and not like not an as an indirect thing, but also as far as riding. If you're riding for 30 minutes an hour, you feel different. I know you work other muscles that you normally wouldn't, like
Oh,
just
yes.
walking. So, and you get off feeling rather sore, and you
I
get
don't.
that
It's
feeling.
not sore anymore. You get to the
If
point.
you ride it for a while, then you're using
Yeah,
those muscles over and over again. But for the
yeah.
new rider, or the one person who doesn't ride as much,
It
it,
takes a while to wear your body in and to kind of teach your legs to kind of go around a barrel, you know. But everybody and anybody who wants to and who isn't afraid of doing it, who wants to do it can do it. It's very doable, but it's very expensive to own one. Let me tell you, that's the drawback. And you know, it's a big responsibility as well. So in one way, Layla is like a giant dog, and in other ways, she's not a giant dog at all. She's a very expensive big animal. But I knew all that when I bought her. And so what we see a lot are people who don't know anything, but their daughters say, Daddy, I want a pony. And so they'll buy them one. And then the little girl will find out this pony is mean or whatever, or she doesn't like it. And then they'll never come and visit it again, And I used to run a boarding stable. That's where the sign, see the sign behind me, it says stables. That is from our boarding stable.
all right. So that line of questions that is what I wanted to start opening up my shows with. And I got this, and I can put this all in the links together with the show and everything, because I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this link in everything because I'm using his line. It's 5 questions. It's finding your purpose in 5 minutes. It's on YouTube, and it was a TED Talk. I think it was out of Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
If my memory serves me correctly, I've in the past 3 days, and I watched this, and it was a 10-minute clip. And he's talking about this procedure about 5 minutes finding your purpose. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? The 4th one was what people want or need from you. And then the 5th is how people change, or what's the result from the people getting this from you. And if you know those 5 things, you're a lot better off than someone who went to with a Yale education.
Really? Well, it took me a long time.
I'm sure there's a lot more involved, but
it took a long time to figure all that out, though. Yeah.
But once you know that, you can move forward. So today, what are you excited about?
I'm really excited about this. I woke up very excited about this today. It's just fun, and I know that I'm excited for my sisters and other friends who I'm not able to see lately can kind of catch up with me through this. And also all my friends with the Scleroderma Foundation, and I'm very excited to chat.
Another good thing that you do, and this is good for not quarantine or not, if you live far away from family, my family started to do this. We actually started using Zoom, and we moved to Skype. Skype, you not a intentional plugin. It's the time use of the times.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we communicate right now. You can create a Skype meet, a Skype chat room, and you can initiate a video call. You can personalize the group and all, and you can invite people with just one link. They don't have to have a Skype account. They have a browser. They just go and click the link in Chrome. It just works usually in Chrome, Google.
I can't. Wow, we all have Skype, and they're all in Green Bay, and I have a big family.
Skype is and remember, is with a little research on Skype, it was developed by somewhere. They're big on technology in the country of Estonia, and that's where Skype comes from.
Who knew? Really? Who knew? I did not know that. I learned something new
discovering
today.
all the Skype. Well, I didn't not discovering Skype, but Skype is a great thing, and you can call internationally. You can have just family chats, but it's staying at home, and you can keep in touch.
Yeah, that is. Thank you. I'm going to use that because we all have Skype, so there's no reason why we can't do that.
Yeah, I want to start doing this more with just coffee conversation. Great idea. If you ever saw me, follow me on Twitter, The Real Sweet Tea.
I never do Twitter.
I'm on The Real Sweet Tea on Instagram or even Facebook, and you've probably seen me at one time share something about Lewis House. He does this with his right-hand man, essentially. They call it Coffee Conversations. So I was like, oh, that would be a great idea to just do that too.
Yes.
Just laid back, talking about ideas, challenges, issues, struggles, what's going on.
What's going on? That's exactly it.
When was your passion for writing realized? You mentioned that it took you a while. When was it realized?
Oh, no, it took me a while to get where I'm at, with it all. But I knew at birth that I was meant to ride horses. And nobody else in my family, neither of my daughters, I just can't understand it. Nobody rides but me. And I couldn't live without it. And yeah, my parents brought me to a barn when I was 10, my friend Mike Weinberg's barn. And Mike taught me how to ride in exchange for cleaning stalls and cleaning up tack, saddles and stuff. And to this day, I'm able to call that man. He is still around. I love him. I love that man. And I still ask him questions about problem horses, problem people. What would you do, Mike? That is cool. I love having that. But, and now I've lost kind of the point of that. Where were we going?
You might have just touched on it, but more specifically, why writing?
I just felt it in my soul. We did a lot of, this is going to be weird. We did a lot of traveling. We were the basic, Cleaver family. 3 girls, Dad worked, and Ma was a saint. And we would go every summer somewhere and we would drive. Well, I would sit and look out the window and imagine myself riding bareback on a black beauty of a horse. And that would help me kind of pass the time. And that was when I was like 3 and 4 years old. And I was always, always, always asking for a horse. Every single night I would sit on my swing out back and do Starlight, Star Bright, or Star I See Tonight, and wish for a horse. And they made it happen when I was 10. It wasn't my horse to begin with, but then I got one soon after that. And I just never, ever, ever lost it, ever. I'm still to this day, when I'm driving to the barn, I get all like my belly gets all excited like butterflies. It's yeah. I'm so glad that I have something like that, that I'm not just all doing the same crap all the time and sick of it. But this is the only thing I've got. You know, I have either in bed for a week or two, and or you know, I'm out here and or out of the barn. But most of the time, I'm just, especially right now, I'm just at home. But I love being at home. I love my home, and my boyfriend. I love my boyfriend, and God, we've known each other since 1986. So, you know, we've known each other so long, we don't even fight anymore, you know, because we already know each other so well. Yeah. I don't know, it's turned out well, but yeah, I knew somehow from birth that, and you'll find that that's how it is with little girls. I am not the only person with that story. Little girls will either be exactly like I was or not at all. And yeah, I was one of those that was. And now I love when little girls come out to the barn. And because I'll always, you know, allow them to either ride or, you know, play with Layla, because my horse and my horse right before this were so tame. I get the ones that everybody can be around. I don't like, you know, stallions or anything that's going to hurt somebody. But yeah, I love it when little girls come around. Can I touch your horse? Of course you can. You know, yeah. Little girls and horses are like peas and carrots. But I was a kid. I was that little kid with ADD in the 70s, but they didn't even know what it was. And I think horses is, you know, I must have been driving them crazy, because I can't imagine how it would have been. So it was a good call on their part, and it worked out all the way around.
All right, moving. Just going through some questions here. What is a big achievement?
I've had some achievements in life, but lately there's like my life before I got sick, and then there's the life that started when Tim picked me up and drove me here to Las Cruces from Texas, when I started getting better. So since I've been getting better, my biggest achievement has been winning the top trail horse competition the first month I joined, the first time I competed. And I did it on my Black Beauty. I finally got my Black Beauty. Tim brought it home to me. I said, Tim,
Cool.
What in the hell? How did you afford that? And I'm just shocked. And he goes, I didn't have to pay anything. I just traded 4 rifles. That horse was the most beautiful, most incredible horse. And he got me out of bed. And then I started riding again. 6 months later, I joined Top Trail Horse. And in the year 2016, it was January 2016, I won for my division Top Trail Horse. And yeah, that was with Conquistador, my black beauty. I had to put him down though a couple of years back because we were running in the dark, which I knew not to do. And he hit a rock and it separated his hoof from his leg. We had to put him down. But when he was alive, he was so inspiring. He taught people ages 2 to 72 how to ride. He loved animals. He loved me. Since it was my boarding stable, I would just open his gate when I got there, and he would just walk around. He had the whole place. He could walk around, and I would go and do all my little duties that I had to do and clean up stuff, and he'd just be hanging out, walking around, saying hello. He was one heck of a horse. Love that guy. Miss that guy. But Layla is also fabulous. She is a great, big, giant sweetheart. You would think that this horse would eat you for lunch. But no, man, she's just, hi. She's something. So she's very good with children as well.
It's a cool little story. I was gonna ask, but you kind of touched on everything I wanted to ask. Up, why is it memorable? You pretty much said that already. That's the question I always have. And you gave advice a little bit there as well.
Did
I
I?
like to go into you well as far as riding at night and all.
Oh, never ride at night. Never run at night. If you've got lights and you've got, they even make headlights and headlamps for horses. There are many ways to ride at night. Never run at night. And I was running because somebody wanted to get in, and I'm like, oh gosh, thinking I had to hurry up and get there. And by being all in a rush, I ruined my best friend. I took his foot off, But I feel him a lot. And
you left a few things in my pre-questionnaire when I have people register. You left a few little things in there for you. You mentioned a book,
yes,
a famous book by George Orwell.
yes,
1984.
which I read in 1984. And I never forgot it. It was something I never forgot because I just saw the logic in it, and the fact that he had written it in 48 and got it so, I don't know, I felt like, what are we going to do? Because this is going to happen. This is, this is kind of a warning, or not a warning, but a wake-up call. But no, people just let it happen. And then look at what happened. It exploded. The sky fell. It's like Red Dawn, the first Red Dawn, not the crappy remake they tried to make. The first Red Dawn, that came out maybe the next year. I think it came out in 85, maybe 86. And so I've already got, this is before the wall came down. This is before the whole, put that wall down. We're still in the Cold War here. And yeah, and plus I get a lot of like just really deep feelings, and I don't know, I can kind of just sense when things are wrong. And I knew something was going to happen, something on a global scale, something we could have easily just fixed if we would have talked, really talked, and not just taken pictures for the media. That doesn't do any good. Don't take a trip to China just to take a picture, If we would just had a little communication here, this would not be happening. There's just no time in my mind that can process the fact that the Las Vegas Strip is empty. I cannot fathom the fact that some states require you to not leave your house without a mask on your face. I know it's for the best, for everybody's good, but I never thought it would go this far. But it did. And now what? But
There's what I'm seeing with all the everyone, all of us people, humans. I can't really speak too much for the animals unless they live with us and they're domesticated. But the people, like, we've all slowed down, and
yeah,
I've seen reports, and we talked about today in our meeting group before, an hour before. I seen reports of the Earth responding to less pollution. We're putting less pollution out, and this is just a small part. Imagine if we did a lot more than just this. We essentially shut down the planet for the human use. If we did a lot more, and we talk, and this being
stagger it over
week
months,
of Earth Day, and that was our theme of the meeting today, Earth Day.
Mm-hmm. It is. Happy Earth Day.
We had
yesterday, I guess.
From one Saudi Arabia, and he's in Toastmasters there, and then one joining in our club meeting today from Australia. So it was a perfect worldly meeting on Earth Day.
Oh, that's very nice.
And we're all coming together with the use of Toastmasters and Zoom. Thank you, Zoom.
Right.
Zoom is, I've seen them step it up quite a bit after they've learned a few things about security, and they've made their changes as well already in just less than a month.
I have watched more classes online just over that since this started.
And it's all of them: Zoom, Skype, Web, or what's the Cisco WebEx? It's all of them. It's the new currency right now. Instead of oil, it's visual communications over the fiber.
That's like when 9/11 happened, which was also very traumatic for me. We realized that the actual heroes in life were the policemen, the firemen, those people who ran in while others were running out.
First responders.
Yeah. And we did celebrate them. And I still to this day thank a vet for their service every time I see one. doesn't matter. Thank you for your service. You know,
Fine.
anyway, they're wonderful
Fine.
people. But now in this one, it's not only the medical people, but it's the food service and the drivers. Who would have thunk that those folks would finally get their day? You know, what a
Well,
freaking deal.
And I can speak to this personally myself. Before I got into when I was going to college, I worked for Kroger, and I've worked through some natural disaster in situations, well, with hurricanes. I've seen that when people emergencies they come get supplies, they take everything off the shelf. I've been there and seen that as well through a hurricane.
And you can feel that, you know, oh my God, what now? You know, it's that feeling it's that same feeling, you know, different.
And my thinking through all of that went back working in the grocery store, checking out, like, people are all coming to get this. What about me? But they've always found a way, like, they would maybe keep a little bit for us, like, or they put a little something together for us to take home when we're done with working, for if we needed a break or something. Because some would always be like nonstop, and maybe a few hours in between shifts. But it's the grocery workers, it's
Yep.
people
And
who have
it's all
to.
the people that people never looked at. No, I mean, they didn't pay any attention to these people before.
Energy companies.
Now they are finally getting their attention. I think that's wonderful for them.
Communication companies, the energy companies, that they're providing this communication, the power that powers this. Without power, that this wouldn't be available either.
Exactly. Unless you're at our home, we have several generators here also. We are very prepared for anything. I don't want anything to happen more than this thing working its way out of the US, but I don't trust yet that that's what's going to happen. So I want to be ready.
And I mentioned also get some good things, like about the Earth responding in this last few months. What I've noticed, I don't know, like, I live right by a park. A bunch of people are outside. I've noticed it in this talk I had just yesterday, which I'll publish that along with this up on all my platforms, and this is actually going live right now on YouTube as well. I noticed a bunch of people. The park is filled with people.
We have seen that too,
running,
and I think that's great.
Playing kites, having family picnics.
Yeah.
Just being outside.
And as so they should. You know,
And
bring back that middle class.
And you slow the spread, whatever. It's still can be done. Things can still be done. It just, you have to take some precautions.
Yep.
So it's not like you have to feel stuck at home, like people sometimes feel. It's not stuck at home. It's stay at home, or just use a little common sense.
I have that's where the scleroderma part comes in. I am on medication, the same stuff. It's like anti-rejection medicine. It's called immunosuppressant medication for my I've got RA, also Crohn's disease, scleroderma, which was the worst, and a couple of others in there. But because I'm on that medicine, I really don't get out a lot. And like we're very social people, but people understand if I'm just out, you know, because I am a lot. I just get sick so easily. Like if we were both in an elevator and one person sneezed, you might get like a little cold. I'd end up in the hospital, you know, with, you know, bronchitis or losing half of my lung. It just makes everything worse. Makes little things exacerbated into huge things. So yeah, I pretty much can't leave, or I just don't. But I have everything I need except for my horse right here. We've got everything we need here. We're very moved in to our place, and he and I are always doing something. We have so many hobbies, you know. We keep very busy, and we watch a lot of comedy. And I think that's the secret to a great marriage or boyfriend, girlfriend, forever situation. We're very happy.
Before I get into, I want to ask a few other questions and like get into like a wrap up. Is there anything that we didn't touch on yet?
I think we touched on a lot of stuff. Oh, one thing that I want to say is the one person that inspires me, who inspired me, was my late mother, my saint, my angel. She was there for me. She was my biggest cheerleader. She's why I'm such a cheerleader. You know, it was her. I had her outgoing, wonderful personality. I love her, but I miss her. And the one person that inspires me different from that is Troy Lynn Norris, who created and runs the Top Trail program. She is such a cool entrepreneur, and she's got herself a great head and a great company, and she inspires me. Those are the only ones that I can think of.
And I think I'm skipping through these questions because we've been like discussing them.
I know, and I'm a long talker.
That's good. Like I'm getting more conversational. I'm not just reading from a question list. Something new that you have learned this last month.
That people can truly wig out in a crisis situation, whilst others can be calming. I never realized.
Panicking never really solves anything.
No, my God, it doesn't. Why don't you know that? You know,
your ego and your brain takes over and it's like, alarm, mayday, you got to do this.
Yes, yeah, but they're not here in the mayday.
But it makes the brain, it makes you not listen to your heart.
Oh my gosh, somebody needs to write that down. That was a very good statement.
Hearing and learning in the last year or so, 2 years, whenever. It's I listened to, I mentioned Lewis Howes, and he helped me. I went to this thing in Columbus, Ohio, Summit of Greatness with him, and one of his speakers that he has run for this three or it was the fourth one year. I signed up again for this one coming up too, so I don't know how it should still go on, but maybe some adaptable changes. But anyway, one speaker was Kyle Cease. He's an actor, comedian, turned transformational comedian.
That's interesting. What is that?
And his whole thing was love the moment.
What is a transformational?
I guess exactly how it sounds. Maybe he goes up and teaches people how to transform into like.
Oh, it transformed themselves into something else. Okay,
doing what they love, like a transformation. Yourself, like, your life, your personal, your business, whatever.
Okay.
For entrepreneurs, like for one, but and his big thing was just love the moment and it'll pass. We're in this global pandemic crisis right now, and I love that.
That's interesting.
The other thing, I mean, I can't afford my bills right now, and I love that. Just love the moment. Fall in love with your fears is another way to put it.
Fall in love with your fears.
It's about like finding your flow. Once you're in your flow, you can't go wrong. You can't do no wrong.
Well, that sounds really nice.
That's where that comes from. And
I can see why you're going.
And it's
again,
not the same.
I can see why you're going again.
It's a lot more of that too. Like, and they always pretty much saying the same thing, and like the theme of you're enough, and not really else needed. You're enough as long as, you bring yourself. So I think you touched on that. Biggest struggle. Biggest struggle and something that you overcame.
Well, I overcame this. I didn't overcome the illness, but October 31st, 2014, there was 14 days left before Tim, who was my college boyfriend, was coming to pick me up and move me here to Las Cruces to get me better. Well, my daughter found me lying on the floor and, unresponsive and whatnot. And so she called the ER. I thought I was dying that night because I felt everything going to black, I guess. And then all of a sudden I'm waking up and there's my daughter in my face, and I'm like, oh my God, what the? And what happened was I just forgot to eat for about 4 days. Tim got there 14 days later. I have not had to be in the hospital for anything other than like one time when a horse broke my finger, since then. And so yeah, it was because I didn't know I was going to live again. And then Tim, I got all these new medications. Then I started bouncing off the walls, because I'm that ADD girl. And that's when he bought the horse, just like my parents. And everything turned around. Everything turned around, and I've got this beautiful life that I never, ever imagined I'd have. And this kind of wraps it all around to the beginning. This is what took me so long. This is what I meant by it took a long enough time to get there, because I spent 15 years sick. So sick, like a Mayo Clinic sick. Didn't, couldn't think, I had 3 strokes. That's not right. So I have a horrible memory. It's just, it's ridiculous. I constantly ask people the same thing. I'm like 50 first dates. It's gotta be irritating. But like I said, now I'm at a place where I love my life, and I just hope that other people will, like you say, learn to love themselves, because until you love yourself, nothing's going to go your way. Nothing will go the way you plan. You have got to show yourself that love. And, sometimes somebody's got to, kick your ass, like Tim had to kick my ass up and off the bed once, you're getting better. But once you do start thinking, wow, I'm really not that bad. I am not that bad.
Oh, and the uncertainty.
Yeah.
We live to go away from the uncertainty, but that's where the gold is.
Yes, exactly. And people are getting the gold right now.
Yep.
Speaking of gold, can I just say something that I hope doesn't weird you out? I can see your aura through the camera right now, and it is so yellow. It's so yellow and blue.
Oh, from the light.
Is that the light? It is. My God, I thought that was. All right. Oh, I wish we could take that off. Nope, I can't see your aura.
All right. What do you do to stay motivated in right now or at any time?
I write a lot. I'll work on an article if I'm not at my horse barn, or if I'm not, shining up a saddle. I love playing with my saddles and bridles and changing them around and blinging them up, and I'm like a little kid. I'm still a little kid, and I like. Now I love messing around with my garden and my plants and all my little fun things I've got back here. That my kids used to say I was a hoarder. Look at me now, kids. That stuff all has a place.
And recommend to anything to watch or to just take your mind off of? I know a lot of people are doing the Netflix thing, or
I would say Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
read.
Old Saturday Night Live episodes.
They just did a nice Zoom version with Tom Hanks
I saw
hosted from his home.
Yeah, I saw it.
I did see that one. I didn't catch too much else, but I did see that one.
Yep, I just watched that one. I'm glad to see that he's good. Yeah, I love I've been watching Saturday Night. I've been watching the show since it started. I think it was 1975, and because my parents watched it, and it was on Saturday. We didn't have a bedtime on Saturday. That was the only night that we could stay up as late as we wanted. So I've literally watched that since the very beginning.
Was that because of that show? Like you stay up, but you gotta watch Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, no, I watch it still because I still laugh my ass off. But there are some years that I skip over, and but like if you go back to like 2013, go back to those years, 2010, 12. Those are some funny years. And then also the early 90s were incredible. And the early 80s, the late 70s, the mid 70s when they started. Yeah, those are all the years. I can't believe that Lorne Michaels is still around after all this time, man.
What's the best way for people to reach you, like on the digital platforms?
Usually, the best is on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger.
And what is anyone?
They can find me at look for Dawn's Top Trail blog, Top Trail Horse blog, and that's my own page. That's my own writing page. Or on Instagram, it's Dawn from Broncos, but it's Broncos is spelled BRANCO. So that's Dawn from Broncos with an A on an O. And I don't really do Twitter. I've never had an account. I also don't do that video Snapchat thing. What else do I do?
And Facebook. And we'll link that. I'll have you like throw everything in the chat, so I'll have everything too. That's why I like Zoom, because you have a chat and then you can have the chat saved, and you have all the links that were put in the chat.
Awesome.
You don't have to go back and rely on email or anything. So contact best. You have a website, or you have anything like that, or
just my just that Facebook page for Top Trail Horse, which I've got. Like, there's a Top Trail Horse page, but then there's my Top Trail Horse page.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm looking for my last set of questions that I like to close out with, and I don't have it in your set of questions. I have to go into something else. I mean, I should eventually. I'll have these memorized, but I have to like read them kind of like. What is something that you still want to learn?
Oh gosh. Well, I still want to learn how to use these herbs and stuff to help us get better and to help us stay healthy.
Why do you think this being a film podcast, and that you've helped me with one particular guest in the past get connected with someone? I've talked with Joey Luthman, and this being a film podcast, I ask this question at the end. This is one of my 3 final questions. One, what do you want to learn? Why do you think the film industry is important? And I say film, you say news as well. Film industry is important in the world.
Yeah, it's important in the world because not every part of the world is the same. We need to show people, what one kind of segment is.
We're seeing this now.
Yeah, exactly. And we are more than ever. We got to smack in the face with it. Yes, the film world is very important.
This is one of the prime examples of why.
Yep.
So your perfect ending to your story. I started with asking this question another way modeled after Lewis's podcast, how he ends with 3 truths. And he asked someone for their 3 truths. If you were given just a pen and paper, write down 3 truths of what you know to be true about life, the world. I turned it around and I came up with this. What is the perfect ending to your story, your life? You're so many days in the future. You're at the age that you want to be. You're with the people that you want around you. You where you want to be. What is all that? What is your perfect ending to your story?
I just want to be able to say goodbye and go to sleep. I mean, just a peaceful ending would be nice.
Just it's not too complicated. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, I'm not. When I die, I've donated my body to the UT Health Science Center in Dallas. I want them to. I mean, I know that they're not going to use it in the scleroderma lab or something like that, but the reason why I did that was I can't donate any of my organs. So if they can use me in the medical school, take what you need, because I once I die, this is just nothing. It means nothing to me. And I think the funeral industry is crazy expensive.
You can't take it with you.
You can't.
Anything that's it's the purpose. What you people try to leave behind things. It's more ideas. You leave behind an idea. Yes. You leave behind a
legacy of hope, and yeah. I would, if I could do anything, leave anything, it would just be, hey man, it's gonna get better. It'll pass. I mean, everything does. Even 9/11 got passed finally. It took good 10 years for me to stop crying about it. But this is just so, it's just so much. It's overwhelming, T. I don't know how to handle it.
Well, this was a good conversation, and I look to have a lot more. If you're interested, if anyone's interested in to have doing something like this, I call it coffee and quarantine conversations. It'll probably just end up being coffee conversations.
Coffee and COVID.
I can't see quarantine unless maybe for the next year or so, depending on the phases, whatever. But coffee conversations, if anyone wants to be a part of this, listening to this, and just tell a story. I hope I inspired something for me, what I'm doing, and so this can continue.
The fact that you get the information out, honey, that is how you're using your power, That is inspiring. You are doing the good thing. You're fighting the good fight, man.
I just see, I hear all the stuff with the news. I try not to listen to it, watch, but sometimes I can't even help that. I see things.
Yeah.
I hear other people reacting, responding, like, where are they getting this from? Oh yeah, they heard it from such and such network.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just take it for what I want to take with it, and common sense.
Yeah. Common sense.
How's it feeling here?
How's it feeling here? Feels fantastic.
You can ignore the microphone.
Feels fantastic.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, please share this with your fellow filmmakers and friends. And to anyone who is stuck, safe at home, and comment on why you liked it and what stood out to you. Be sure to check back here for weekly episodes. Give a shout out to Dawn. She's on Instagram and Facebook. And be sure to check out her page listed in the notes. And let her know you heard her on the show. Also, let me know how I am doing. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give me a review and let me know what you liked, or what changes I may need to incorporate. Thank you for listening and subscribing to Keeping It Real in the Film World. I hope you got some value from this episode.